What up, guys? Mad Scientist 7890 here, your favorite shooter and hip hop enthusiast. Now, here I'm going to do this Raw review for January 23rd, 2012. Raw starts out here. CM Punk comes out and he's basically, talking about Laurinaitis, saying last week he was going to screw me. It's obvious. You saw him say it. He hit Mick Foley with the mic. He said he wants, Laurinaitis to come out right now, or he's going to come and find him. Then John Cena comes out. And Punk basically says, I wanted, John. I didn't want John the Boy Scout. I wanted John who nobody cares about me, John. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was pretty good. The promo was pretty well set to set up. Then Cena come out, say, he's gonna get back at Laurinaitis for, putting Ryder in that match. He's gonna have him come out. He's gonna give Ryder his rematch. Then he's gonna step down as GM. That's what's gonna happen. And Laurinaitis comes out and he goes, I'm not going to be intimidated by either of you. Playing that, hard-ass GM role, but he's not going to do anything about it, obviously. And then he basically says none of that's going to happen. Ryder's going to have a match tonight against Kane. He's medically cleared, so he'll be all right. And then he says, you guys tonight are going to team together, and I got a team for you guys. And it was Dolph Ziggler and Jack Swagger. And the match is going to happen now. The match happened. It was a short, okay, fun match. There was a couple of decent spots in it. Swagger, they cut a promo beforehand. Swagger cut a promo. Man, he was just horrendous. He should not be allowed to just cut promos anymore. It was bad. But the match itself was okay. Laurinaitis was out there, and he was jumped up on the ring and said that Punk, you can't touch an official, blah blah blah, and all this, and distracted him, and then Dolph got the roll-up win. So that was basically that. After that, everyone scurried off, and Punk got on the mic and said, Laurinaitis, you're gutless, you're spineless, and all this stuff, and for one time in your life, please be a man and face me tonight in a match. And Laurinaitis was like, fine, I'm not going to be intimidated. I'll face you in a match. We'll have a match tonight. And you just see Punk with this just an evil grin on his face, and something that a lot of people, and probably CM Punk, the setup is definitely looking forward to. That whole segment, all of that stuff with that, and then the match, and then after the match was damn near 35 minutes long, cut up a lot of time. But it was definitely really well put together, and the build towards these storylines going to Royal Rumble. Next, they have the setup for Chris Jericho, all the stuff he's been doing. What can we expect from, Chris Jericho next? He's doing a highlight reel, and he's all excited. He comes out and get the crowd all amped up again and everything. They were booing him, and then all of a sudden he got them all amped up, and they were cheering him and stuff again. And he got the what's it called, the shirt gun. He's going to shoot a shirt, and he's like, no, wait a second. And then he gets the camera, and he's showing everybody in the crowd, and he's like, shh, wait a second. And then he shows his highlight package on the Jericho thing, and shows when he first came in 2000, and all the stuff that he did with that, and really well put together. Showed him winning the United States, or not United States, Unified Championship from Rock and Austin, and all of that. And then he comes back, and then finally he's like, shh, and Jericho finally speaks, and he goes, this Sunday at the Royal Rumble, and the crowd goes nuts. They lose it. He says the world will end as we know it. And then he turns the light off, does his little sparkly jacket with the lights, and then that's it. The way they're building this is really well put together. After that, I really just can't see anybody else winning this other than him, the Royal Rumble. It would totally kill any momentum that he has going into, Elimination Chamber, going into WrestleMania, anything like that, if they're going to do anything with him. If he's going to face Punk, or if he's going to, who knows? I really don't even know what they're doing right now with him, but I'm really enjoying it, and this, lead up as of this Raw was still pretty well put together. Next, we got the setup for the Falls Count Anywhere match, Kane versus Zack Ryder. Kane absolutely just destroys just Zack Ryder. It's funny, before this, but they had the little segment with Eve and Cena and Ryder, and they're basically, backstage. Just said, Cena, I'll come out there and I'll help you if you need it. And he's like, no, don't worry about it. I don't need any help. He's like, if you can interfere, I'm not allowed to get a U.S. title shot ever again, so don't worry about it. And he goes up there and he gets just destroyed by Kane, beats the crap out of him. Kane just beats the crap out of him, and then he chokeslams him through the ring, not through the ring, through the stage up top, falls through the thing, and is supposedly injured or whatever. And they got Eve crying, and Kane runs off, and the match, was a no contest. They're taking Zack Ryder to the hospital, and backstage, and it's really this build up to John Cena just turning into a heel, and it's very very well put together. I like the way they're doing this, because it's really that build up of hate, and how long can you do it before you just lose it, and I think that's a really good way to do it, honestly. But then they have this little snippet where Eve was like, "This is your fault. This is all your fault. I'm going with Zack in the ambulance. You're not, stay here. You're not going." And Cena's like, "It's not my fault. I don't know what, he told me not to, and gets in there, and then Josh Matthews comes up right after and basically is like, this is horrible and blah, blah, what do you have to say about this? Cena just looks out, and then he looks at that, Josh Matthews just smacks the microphone out of his hand, and it was really well put together. I like the way they did it, to really build towards us. So they, then we find out, later on that Zack Ryder broke his back. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's real. I don't know if I've heard he is actually injured, but I don't know if the supposed real injury is a broken back. I really don't know, but that's what they're saying. They're saying he broke his back. So I don't know. Next we have Jinder Mahal out in the ring, and he's facing Sheamus. Sheamus had a monster pop right here. Like, I was really surprised. Like, Sheamus is definitely major over right now. And this was a real short match. Mahal getting squashed, basically. Wade Barrett out there. They're continuing this whole thing with Barrett and Sheamus and Orton kind of deal. And, they said that Orton was going to be back on SmackDown this Friday. And, who knows what they're going to do with that. So, but all this stuff leading together, all these guys going in the Rumble. I think they're doing a really good job of opening the field and basically, trying to set it up to where anybody could win this Royal Rumble. Anybody could just sit there and say, okay, well, this guy could win, because they're doing a good job making a case for Orton, coming back. They're doing a good job of making Sheamus and Wade Barrett look like they're going to, do something. So, I don't know. Next they have, Sheamus go on the mic and say Barrett, was going to throw him over and blah, blah, and all this. Next then they have this thing backstage with Miz and, a little promo, and then R-Truth shows up, says he's somebody else, and he's like, yeah, you're number one in WWE, and you're number one annoying, you're number one this, you're number one that, you're number one jackass, blah, 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 blah. And we start arguing and yelling, and then Johnny Ace comes in and says, you know what, I'm trying to get ready for my match, and blah, blah, blah. I can't think with all of this number one that. You guys have a match tonight, your match tonight, and whoever loses is going to be number one in the Royal Rumble. So that kind of gives away the surprise of who's going to be a Royal Rumble, who's going to be the winner of that, or not the winner, but the first one in there. Usually they try to make it a surprise, but it is what it is. Next then they have a Brodus Clay versus Heath Slater match here. Same thing. I like I said, I'm behind this gimmick. I really like it, but I do want to see. I want to see him do more than just squash matches. I really do. I want to see him do something at least. All he's doing is squashing people. He's entertaining, but I want to see him have a match longer than 5 minutes. I know he can. I know the guy is probably athletic enough, but and he's a good worker. But everything he's doing, he's playing the face, and the crowd enjoyed it. Him just destroying Heath Slater. So that is what it is. Hopefully they'll do a little bit more with him. Next they got the Miz versus Truth match here. Nothing real long, nothing really that great, but R-Truth getting a clean win here actually, and making a case for him possibly winning. I doubt it, but they're really doing a good job of making you think that these guys could win. Miz is going to be number one obviously in the Royal Rumble. I'll be there live. I'm totally okay with that. So I mean, I don't know where they're going to go from there with that. Next they got backstage. Johnny Ace is back there with Otunga, and they're talking, and basically, he gets a fax or whatever. And you don't know what it is at first. He's like, you might want to read this before you go out there. Go out there. Punk's out there. He's ready to go, and he's out there. Otunga reads it and basically says, the board of directors saying, because of everything you're doing and all this stuff, basically, you're under advisory. Next week on Raw, Triple H is going to be reviewing how you're running Raw, if it's, in bad shape or whatever. you could be let go and terminated of the GM job. Punk says that's absolutely the way it should be, all this, blah, blah, blah. They talk, and he basically says, we can't have this match tonight. And, he says, you're making bad decisions and blah, blah, blah. You wouldn't let Mick Foley in the Royal Rumble. And he's like, you know what? No, Mick Foley is in the Royal Rumble. I've let him in. I'm going to do my job the way it's supposed to be done. I'm not going to be biased, blah, blah, blah. He said, I'm not going to be biased. I was going to run the match against you and Ziggler right down the middle. And Punk does this little stutter kind of thing where I think he knew what he was going to say, but he kind of cut himself off and stopped, and he made something out of it. But he said if Triple H is anything like his grandfather, and then he stopped, and he's like, yeah, I accidentally said grandfather there. To Vince McMahon, I meant stepfather. If Triple H is anything like his stepfather, then next week he'll come out here and say you're fired and all this and blah blah blah, and then basically Johnny A says, well, I have a suitable replacement for you. It's David Otunga, and Otunga jumps him, beats him down for maybe 10 seconds, and then Punk kicks him a couple times, puts him in the Anaconda Vice, and then he taps. But it wasn't really an actual match. The bell never rang, and then Punk kicked him in the head, and then Laurinaitis kind of just was gonna attack him, and he stopped, and then Laurinaitis stuck his hand out to shake his hand. Punk went to grab and shake his hand, pulled him in, gave Laurinaitis the GTS. The crowd marked, went nuts for it, and you see Punk standing in the ring, and then they're getting ready to go off there, and then Ziggler comes out, hits him with a zigzag, and you just see Ziggler standing in the ring over CM Punk, and Raw goes off the air. So I like the way they're running Raw, and I like the way going into Royal Rumble this weekend. It really looks like anything can happen. It really does look like it's very unpredictable, and I'm really glad it's like that, because I don't want to feel like I know who's going to win. I really don't know if Ziggler's going to win. I don't know if Punk's going to retain. I don't know what Jericho's going to do. I don't know if Daniel Bryan, we didn't even mention that, Daniel Bryan wasn't on the show, but Daniel Bryan and Big Show and Mark Henry are in a triple threat cage match. So don't know how that's going to happen. I don't know if he's going to retain. Who knows? Kane and Cena, have no idea how that's going to go. That might just turn into a street fight or something. And then we only have 4 matches. So we had 4 matches last year, I believe, and there was a 40-man Royal Rumble. So it makes me think they might have one more match, I believe. Maybe a tag match. I don't think they're going to have a women's title match, because they really haven't built anything at all with the women's title at all in weeks. So I don't think it's going to be a women's title match. If it is, then it's just going to be out of the random, totally out of the blue. But I think they might do a tag match possibly, with the new tag team with Rosa Mendez. I'm totally all for that. So who knows? But yeah, that was Raw. They're continuing to impress. I'm continuing to enjoy them. So hopefully, the Rumble's good. If you're going to the Royal Rumble, shoot me a message, say, hey, I'm going to be there, or whatever. And if you see me there, I'll be with the IWR guys. Come up, say what's up. We'll talk some wrestling, do whatever. I'm a pretty nice guy. So that's what we'll do there. And then, so Royal Rumble this Sunday, Raw, pretty good stuff. I'm the Mad Scientist, your favorite shooter and hip-hop enthusiast. I'm out of here. Peace.